right. Well, Chinese nationals reportedly accessing U.S. military bases and other sensitive sites more than 100 times in recent years. The Wall Street Journal reporting, quote, the individuals use what appears to be scripted language when confronted by security guards. When stopped, the Chinese nationals say they are tourists and have lost their way. Joining me now, Heritage Foundation Senior Fellow for China Strategy and author of The 100-Year Marathon, Michael Pillsbury. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. Thank you.
So this Wall Street Journal investigative piece is very thorough, talking about these Chinese nationals that are trying to get into military sites, U.S. military sites, trying to book hotel stays, for instance, on U.S. military bases. The question is, what are they looking for? Are they looking for information, IT information, schematics that they could copy, or are they looking for weaknesses in U.S. military operations?
Well, the short answer would be both, but the longer answer, I wrote a book on this, Cheryl, and thank God the FBI and CIA approved my describing the goals of Chinese espionage, and the case is just like what you're reporting on. One of their goals is very flattering to us. They want a global military power projection capability. That's very hard to build, took us decades. They're trying to cheat and go much faster. So you'll notice one of the stories Gordon Lubold has in this Wall Street Journal piece is scuba diving around Cape Canaveral. That's to spy on our space program. They have a number of other efforts like that. Then they're near SEAL Team 6 and what's called the Joint Expeditionary Headquarters of our Navy down in Little Creek, Virginia. They want a SEAL Team 6. They want a global expeditionary capability. They're learning how to do it. They have other means of espionage and intelligence collection, but this is pretty flagrant to have tourists claim that they're lost and then come in with cameras and recording devices. You'll notice one of the cases in New Mexico. That's our middle-range missile testing facility. The one up in the Arctic Circle in Alaska is also fascinating. We know the Chinese are more and more interested in developing the Arctic Circle for various reasons, even having military bases there. So here they are learning how does the American Army run its effort inside the Arctic Circle in Alaska. So there's a pattern here, and the pattern is a very slow, below the threshold approach. They don't want to scare us into a Sputnik reaction or a Pearl Harbor kind of reaction. They want us to keep on sleeping. I see a number of articles, Cheryl, in the Chinese press, where they refer to America as anesthetized or asleep or complacent about the China threat. And this is just what they want, obviously.
Well, obviously that comes from the top. Chinese leader Xi Jinping is skipping G20 in India. That kicks off Thursday. President Biden is going. He's going to, and that's all. Obviously, that all kicks off on Saturday and Sunday. But China's premier is going instead. And so President Biden was asked by a reporter about this decision. Here's what he had to say. Watch this.
Are you disappointed that President Xi is not going to the G20? How do you explain that?
I am disappointed, but I'm going to get to see him.
He's going to get to see him. Okay, that was news to a lot of us watching. But, you know, remember, U.S. and Chinese officials have reportedly been working on a possible meeting between the two for November that would be on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperative in San Francisco. So where are we? He says he's going to see him soon. What do we think of that?
This is big news. As you say, this is what Biden's been trying to do, to arrange a face-to-face meeting. Biden has reversed his China policy. His whole first year, he was really imitating President Trump, even almost the exact words. At one time, he said, China's not going to pass America on my watch. That's a phrase President Trump had used. He kept a lot of the policies of the Trump administration in place. All that's changed now. In the last 3 or 4 months, or at least since the Bali summit in November, the whole strategy has reversed. Biden apparently is not afraid of the American voter being concerned about China. So these initiatives can be called appeasement, but it's only a small group that seems to be criticizing him. The Congress as a whole is going along with the Biden approach. So is what we call it, the mainstream media. So Biden is trying to have it both ways, to claim he's tough last year, but this year to be pursuing an entirely different approach. I think it's kind of dangerous, but the Chinese are very happy. Their praise for Biden has gone up a lot just in the last month or so in their press, Cheryl, on their TV shows.
Well, before you go, Beijing did slam the Biden administration's China strategy, claiming it's, quote, doomed to fail. And this is less than a week after Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo's trip to the nation. And the Ministry of State Security says the U.S.'s focus on, quote, competition and controlling competition is no different than what its China policy has been for decades. Final thoughts.
It's a very subtle distinction. The Biden people are going to Beijing and saying, you know, we don't want to hurt your economy. We just want to protect our own national security. The Chinese do not believe that. They believe we're doing what they would do if the situation were reversed, that we're trying to block their growth and make sure that they never surpass us. So it's a subtle difference, but it's the difference also between Trump and Biden, where I don't know how Biden's going to claim he's tough on China when he has scenes like this with his Treasury Secretary bowing 3 times to a mere prime minister. It's kind of embarrassing, don't you think, Cheryl?
I thought it was very embarrassing and unproductive and why, and I had said this last week on the air. The thinking is they were trying to grease the wheels for a Biden meeting with the president of China. Well, we shall see. I mean, here you go. All right, Michael Pillsbury, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.